Alright, I picked up a Cyber Dragon Revolution structure box, and I'm going to do an opening on this, and then I'll do a deck profile for what you can make with 3 of them later. Because it's actually, if you build it right, it can be kind of on the tier with the rogue decks. So you can actually compete with this pretty well. So let's get this thing open real quick. Alright, now I got it open. I like these extra deck cards. I like the reprint of Cyber Twin. That's a really good card for this. I like the attack twice thing. And Nova, which is actually new. I like that they gave this deck more support. I like that they gave it an Xyz monster. That's really cool. It's actually got a pretty good effect too. That's not bad at all. And 2 more newer cards for this deck. So we got the Core, which adds 1 Cyber Spell or Trap card from your deck to your hand. That's really good. I like that because they release more spell and trap cards for this, so that's going to be pretty nice. Gives this deck a little bit more to work with. And then Dry can increase its level by 1 because it's only at 4, and that'll help you get into Nova more. I really like that. It's gonna help boost this deck and give it what it needs to be a little bit more competitive. And they gave you both artworks of Cyber Dragon. I personally like the alternate one. I just think it looks a lot cooler, in my personal opinion. Then we got 2 Cyber Dragon Zwei. I don't know how to say that, but it's not a bad card. I don't mind it. It's just they could have a better support card than that. I like Dry better than that. Then we got 2 Proto Cyber Dragons. Once again, they're not bad. It's just could have been a lot better. I just don't like that it's only Cyber Dragon on the field. So a lot of the card effects in this deck now don't help those out really, or that doesn't help them out. Cyber Valley, I really like this card. This card is really good. I like its effect. It's pretty much a negate attack if it gets attacked. Ends the battle phase, and you get to draw a card. So that's a nice card to have for this deck. Then we got 2 Cyber Larvas. Not the best card, but it'll help you out. You take no battle damage the turn it gets destroyed. So yeah, it's not bad. I like this card. It could be better if it ended the battle phase like Valley, but I mean, special summoning and taking no battle damage, that's nice. Cyber Dinosaur, I like it. I just don't like that it's not Cyber Dragon. That's pretty much my only problem with this card, because you can still special summon it and stuff pretty easy, so it's nice. And then Cyber Phoenix helps out. Something about, yep, there we go. You get any spell or trap effects that target exactly 1 machine type monster. It's not a bad card. It could be better though. Cyber Eltanin, I really like that they gave this card in the structure deck. This is a really good card. Really, really good. It's a free field nuke. Well, I mean, it gets rid of their monsters. It's not going to clear out the back row, but they gave cards in this structure deck for that too, so that's really nice. Then we got an Armored Cyburn, which this isn't a bad card. I'm considering throwing it in the deck. My only problem is it's not light, it's wind. So that might be what stops it from going in, but we'll see. Jade Knight. When this card, while this card is in attack position, machine type monsters effects, monsters you control with 1200 or less attack cannot be destroyed by trap effects. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can add 1 level 4 light machine type monster from your deck to your hand. Once again, it's a decent card if this was back in like before Xyz and Synchro monsters, but due to Xyz and Synchros and all that taking over, I don't know if I can play it and still have this deck be good. So this is another one similar to Jade Knight. It's good. Back in the original series was out and there weren't any Xyz or Synchros, but you know, sometimes you could organize a good tournament without those and play your friends. That could be nice. Could be a fun deck to use with then. Really, really fun. Satellite Cannon, not great, but you know, it can help you. I mean, I personally wouldn't throw it in because it's kind of a tricky card to use at times. It could help you get over some bad cards. I mean, not getting destroyed by anything level 7 or lower. The only problem is now that there's rank with the Xyz monsters, this card is pretty much dust. Dust in the wind there. Solar Windjammer. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, but its original attack and defense become halved. During each of your standby phases, and increase the level of this card by 1, there can only be one Solar Windjammer on the field. That's, I mean, yeah, once again, not bad, but it can actually help you get some pretty cool monsters out too. So, I mean, if you run a tuner deck, that wouldn't be bad at all. Like you're trying to go into a lot of synchro monsters, that would help a lot. Maybe even some Xyz monsters, depending on what deck you're running. And then, oh yes, Reflect Bounder. This one is a really good card. I like that they threw this in here. It's a magic cylinder in monster form. If it gets attacked, they take the damage that their monster equal to the monster's attack that they attacked you with. So yeah, this is a really nice card. I really like that they threw this in here. That's probably going to be in a deck or two, to be completely honest. The Light, Hex Sealed Fusion. Of course they're going to throw it in here. It's a fusion-based deck. They got a lot of these Hex Sealed Fusion things. And Shining Angel. It's not bad. I like it. It's a light, but it's, once again, it's not machine. That's what's going to keep it out of a competitive deck. The fact that it's not machine. This deck relies too heavily on machine light monsters. Cyber Repair Plan. Here's a newer support card. I really like this. If a Cyber Dragon is in your graveyard, you can activate one of these effects. If you have 3 or more Cyber Dragons in your graveyard, at activation, you can activate both effects and resolve in sequence. You can only activate one Cyber Repair Plant per turn. So this isn't bad at all. I mean, sure, you can only activate one per turn, but it's still a great card. Add one Light Machine type monster from your deck to your hand. If they have a monster and you don't have any, or if you want to wait and see what you get, or what you have for combos, you could always use this. Special summon out a Cyber Dragon after you get it, and then you could summon out a Dry or something and get a Nova. Or there's a lot of good plays you can get off with that. Evolution Burst. This is a good card. I really like it. It's my problem is that you can't attack the turn you use it, so I might side deck it. I might main deck it actually. We'll see how I test this out and how I like it, but it's really not a bad card. If you control one Cyber Dragon or more, target one card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Yeah, that's really not bad at all. It doesn't even specify monster, spell, or trap. Super Polymerization. I like it. The only downside, it has to be on the field, which with this deck isn't terribly hard to do, but once again, it's not the easiest thing. So it's a good card for this because it can't be stopped. They can't chain anything to it, so it's a nice card. Then we got a Power Bond. Fusion summon one machine type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials, and it gains attack equal to its original attack. During the end phase of the turn this card is activated, you take damage equal to the amount of attack gained from this effect at the time of the summon. So this is really nice, especially with this guy here, Cyber Twin Dragon. Even more so if you have Cyber End Dragon, you want to go for game. If you have Cyber End, which they didn't give in the structure deck unfortunately, but Cyber End and you go limiter removal on top of the Power Bond, there's nothing they can do unless, because this deck gives you trap removal and pretty much screw their back row is what the structure deck says. So it's really nice. Excuse me there, had like a hiccupy type of situation going on, but yeah, this Power Bond is just too good for this deck. I really like that that's in here. So limiter removal, I believe it's still semi-limited or limited, I can't remember which, but it's still a great card, especially if you add on top of Power Bond. There's no way they're stopping Cyber End Dragon. Cyber Twin Dragon will get over anything, so you're going for a game once you use limiter removal and Power Bond pretty much. Megamorph, this deck's already got a lot of cards that double the attack and stuff, so I wouldn't even worry about that one. DDR. Discard one card, then target one of your banished monsters, special summon it in face-up attack position. and equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that equipped monster. This might make a special appearance in my deck just because I could use Cyber Valley again. That's the only reason it would make an appearance in this deck. My problem is that I believe if you banish Valley, this card stays on your side of the field. So there's worse things that could happen, but you also want to have some back row because the traps in this deck are actually really good for what you got to do. So I'll test it out and I'll see what I like. MST, you can never have enough reprints of this. I like it. Good common. Light Redemption, pay 800 life points, then target one of your banished light monsters, add that target to your hand. My problem is that it goes to your hand and not the field. Otherwise I wouldn't have too much of a problem with that. But due to Power Bond's effect, I probably wouldn't run that card anyways. Machina Armored Unit, it's a good card. I just don't... It could get a little bit screwy with this deck. Because if you got a dry, you can't get a Cyber Dragon. If you got a dry, you can't get another dry. So you'd have to go to core or another card. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen that would not help your deck a lot. So I'm just going to try and avoid that one. Cyber Network's a new card. I actually don't mind this. Destroy this card during the third standby phase. Yep, third standby phase after activation. Once per turn, if Cyber Dragon is on the field, you can banish one light machine type monster from your deck. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, special summon as many of your banished light machine type monsters as possible. And if you do, destroy all spell and trap cards you control. Monsters that were special summoned by this effect cannot activate their effects. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. So, overall, good card. It'll help you spam the field. The problem is you can't do anything the turn it goes on, so it's iffy. I might play it. I probably won't for a while, though. I'll probably test other cards in this deck before I use this one, just because it destroys your spell and traps, and you can't battle phase the turn it goes off. So, Cybernetic Hidden Technology. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send to the graveyard one Cyber Dragon you control or one fusion monster you control that lists Cyber Dragon as a fusion material. Then target the attacking monster, destroy that target. This card would work extremely well if it didn't target, because a lot of cards, unfortunately, say cannot be target or have a support card that says that, so probably not. I like 3 of a kind though. I might throw one in just because it's 3 of a kind. Granted, it does target, but it can be more helpful than hurtful, I think. So I might play with that, but we'll see. Trap Stun, negate all their trap effects on the field this turn. I like it. It's a 1-turn Royal Decree. Really good common. I like it. Prison, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target that attacking monster, banish that target. I like this card. This is definitely going to be in a deck. And this card will also definitely be in a Cyber Dragon deck, because you, as a Cyber Dragon player, will always worry about back row, because there's not many things that say cannot be destroyed by card effects or anything like that to save them. So Malevolent Catastrophe, when they attack, use it, you go off. That'll help you a lot. Wabaku, not bad, but they could have had better cards in here for it. And Call the Haunted, it's not a bad card. I just don't think I've ever used it since probably when I was 12. So, I mean, I just don't like that. If it gets destroyed, the monster's gone. But, yep. Thanks for watching this structure deck opening. I will probably do a deck profile shortly after here. I really like what they did with the Cyber Dragons, giving them support. This deck is a very popular deck, so I really like that they did that. I personally love this deck, and I like all the new support. It's just great. So keep up to date with their channel. I'll do my best to get out a Cyber Dragon deck profile shortly.